6 days straight, the yellow dog had not moved from the hospital entrance. He did not wander, he did not hunt for scraps. He just sat, straight-backed, eyes fixed on the sliding automatic glass doors. Rain fell for 2 of those days. It soaked through to his skin, turned the concrete under him dark and cold. He did not shift. He did not seek shelter under the overhang a dozen feet away. He stayed. Night fell, and frost bit into the pads of his paws. Ice crusted between his toes when he pressed them to the ground. He pulled his paws under his body for an hour, then set them back on the concrete. He did not leave. Cars roared past 10 feet from his head. Engine light washed over him. Horns blared so loud the concrete vibrated under him. Once a van swerved half onto the curb, tires skidding to a stop inches from his shoulder. He did not flinch. He did not run. He did not blink. He just lifted his head a fraction, watched the doors slide open and shut for another group of people, then settled back into his spot. None of it mattered. Nothing could make him leave. He just waited. Hospital staff noticed the stubborn dog first on the 3rd day. They began to leave offerings to coax him away. The kitchen saved leftover bread crusts, then leftover ham scraps, set out on a paper plate 10 feet from the entrance. A volunteer knelt and called, soft as she could, until her knees ached on the cold concrete. The dog lifted his head. He sniffed the air, caught the scent of the meat. He got up, walked slowly over to the plate. He sniffed the ham, he sniffed the bread. He did not take a bite. He turned, walked straight back to his step, and sat down. The food went moldy by sunset. No one tried again with bread. The security guards decided to intervene. They waited until after midnight, when the entrance was clear. 2 men approached slowly, looped a soft rope around his collar, and led him away. They drove him 6 blocks from the hospital, left him in a park with a full bowl of kibble, and locked the front gate behind them on their way back. They laughed about it on their radio, said the stray would find a new place to hang out. The night shift passed. The sky lightened to pale gray. The first morning worker unlocked the gate. She stepped out for a cigarette. There he was, sitting on the same cracked concrete step. Everyone who worked at the hospital got used to the yellow dog on the step. They stopped talking about him. They stopped guessing why he stayed. They just walked around him when they came in for their shifts, stepped over his paws when he stretched out across the concrete, and stopped wondering what kept him there. Most wrote him off as a homeless stray with nowhere else to go. No one stopped to look closer. Not until that morning. Clara was the night shift nurse. She had pulled a double shift, 12 hours straight, stitching cuts, passing out medication, answering call buttons every 2 minutes. Her feet ached. Her shoulders were tight from leaning over gurneys. She grabbed her bag from the locker room, punched out, and walked toward the main entrance. She had walked past the yellow dog a dozen times in the past week. She had nodded at him once, left a half-eaten granola bar 2 feet away once, but she never stopped. That morning, she was halfway past the bench when the automatic doors slid open behind her. A breeze blew through the entrance, carrying the scent of fresh coffee from the cart down the block. The dog lifted his head. The movement was sharp, purposeful. Not the lazy twitch of a stray dozing in the sun. Clara slowed her step. She almost kept going. Almost. But the way he held his head, the way his eyes locked on the people walking out made her pause. She leaned back against the concrete wall of the entrance, slipped off her bag, and really looked. For the first time, she noticed something no one else had caught. Something strange. Something that didn't fit with the idea of a stray just passing time. The automatic doors slid open again. A young mother pushed a stroller through, followed by a man in a work jacket carrying a crumpled appointment slip. The dog tracked every single one. He lifted his chin the second the mechanism hummed to life. He scanned left, slow, then right, his eyes jumping from face to face, one by one. He did not miss a single person. When the last person stepped past the entrance, he lowered his head back to his paws. He relaxed his muscles just enough to rest until the next hum of the doors. It wasn't random. It wasn't luck. He wasn't hiding from the rain or looking for scraps. He was searching. Searching for one specific person. Clara pushed off the wall and walked slowly toward him. She did not reach out. She did not call. She just stood a few feet away and watched 3 more groups of people walk through the doors. The dog repeated the exact same routine every single time. No deviation, no mistake. Clara understood then. She turned and walked back inside. That night, when she came back for her next shift, she carried a clean plastic bowl filled with fresh tap water. She set it down 3 feet from his step, far enough not to startle him. He never stepped toward her. He never let her get close enough to touch. When she set the bowl down, he did not move until she walked back inside the entrance. Then he got up, drank slowly, and went back to his step. He never stopped watching. He never stopped waiting for the doors to slide open. 3 full days passed. The dog stuck to his routine. Every time the automatic doors hummed open, he lifted his head, scanned left to right, checked every face, lowered his chin back to his paws. Clara brought fresh water every shift. The blanket stayed tucked under the bench, dry through a light rain on the second night. He never let her touch him. He never missed a scan. On the 3rd day, Clara clocked out of her morning shift early. The linen cart by the nurse's station was full of soiled sheets and empty pillowcases, and she offered to wheel it out to the laundry truck parked at the service curb. The wheels rattled over the cracked concrete of the hallway, then over the threshold of the side entrance. The air hit her cool, carrying the scent of exhaust from idling delivery trucks. She paused to adjust the stack of linens that had slipped forward, and glanced over toward the main entrance, where the dog usually sat. He was not lying down. He was standing. His whole body had gone rigid. Every muscle pulled tight from the tip of his nose to the end of his tail. Before Clara could process what she was seeing, his ears shot straight up. They tilted toward the road, half a block away. A second later, she heard it too. The wail of a siren, growing louder by the second. The dog did not take his eyes off the curve of the driveway. His breathing picked up, quick, shallow puffs of air that fogged the cool morning. The siren cut off as the ambulance turned into the hospital lot. It rolled slowly toward the main entrance curb, tires crunching on the loose gravel. The dog did not move a muscle. He just stood, locked in place, every ounce of his focus fixed on the idling ambulance. The back door of the ambulance started to swing open. The metal doors creaked open all the way, swinging wide to let cold morning air flood into the ambulance's back compartment. 2 paramedics stepped out onto the curb, one on each side. They reached back inside, gripped the metal handles of the wheeled stretcher, and pulled it forward, slow, steady, careful not to jostle the load they carried. The stretcher rolled down the ramp and onto the asphalt curb. The middle-aged man lay flat on the canvas, his eyes closed, his chest rising and falling in slow, steady breaths. Dirt caked his arms and the side of his face, grit still stuck in the creases of his skin from the fall he had taken on the hiking trail. The dog did not hesitate. All the tension that had built in his muscles for 9 straight days released at once. He did not bark. He did not growl. A low, ragged whine tore out of his throat before he even started moving. It came from deep in his chest, raw with all the waiting and all the fear he had held in for 6 days straight. He broke into a run before anyone could react. His paws hit the cracked concrete hard, kicking up small chips of asphalt as he ate the distance between the bench and the curb. He weaved around a group of visitors carrying coffee cups, who jumped back out of his way with startled gasps. He never slowed down. He never looked left or right. Every line of his body pointed straight at the stretcher. Straight at the man who had been missing for 7 days. The whimpers kept coming, thick and desperate, growing louder the closer he got. No one had time to block his path. No one had time to grab for his collar before he was already there, charging straight for the man he had been searching for all this time. The security guard posted at the main entrance had been watching the scene unfold, his hands loose at his sides. He moved faster than anyone expected. He lunged forward, caught the thick scruff of the dog's neck just behind the collar, and hauled back with all his weight. The dog's forward momentum slammed into the unexpected resistance. His chest pulled tight, his front paws lifted off the ground for a split second before they came back down hard. His claws scraped against the rough asphalt, leaving thin white scratch marks as he scrabbled for purchase. He strained against the hold, every muscle in his shoulders and hind legs pulling forward, pulling toward the stretcher. The low, desperate whimpering never stopped. It rose in volume, raw and ragged, as he threw his whole weight into the pull. The guard's boots skidded an inch across the asphalt. He grunted and tightened his grip, both hands locked around the dog's collar now. The dog kept pulling, He did not snap at the guard. He did not turn to bite. He kept his eyes locked on the man on the stretcher. The paramedics had stopped moving the stretcher, frozen halfway to the automatic doors. One of them called out for help, his voice sharp over the dog's whimpering. A second guard came running from inside the hospital, his radio crackling at his hip. He grabbed the dog's scruff from the other side, adding his weight to pull the dog back. The dog's hind legs slipped, but he caught himself and pulled harder. His paws kicked up tiny clouds of gravel dust as he scrabbled for any grip to push forward. His breathing came in hard, ragged gasps, but his gaze never wavered. It never left the unconscious man. He would not back off. He would not look away. He had waited 9 days for this moment. He was not going to lose it now. Clara pushed through the automatic doors, her stack of empty linen still balanced on her hip. She had been watching the whole thing from inside, her chest tight with a feeling she couldn't name. She set the linens down on the bench beside the door and walked over to where the 2 guards stood braced against the dog's pull. She told them to stop. Told them she had seen this dog waiting here every day for 6 straight days. Told them he wasn't a stray, not the way he watched the doors. He was waiting for someone. The guards loosened their grip just enough to listen. The paramedics had already wheeled the unconscious man through the doors and up to the emergency department, so Clara walked with the head of security to the admission desk. She asked them to pull the missing person report the man's sister had filed when he didn't come back from his hike. The admission clerk tapped the keyboard, pulled up the form and scanned through the details. It matched. 7 days missing. Hiking accident on the trail north of town. Description of the dog he'd taken with him. The security team got the dog to stand still long enough to scan the microchip registered under his owner's name. The number matched the one written on the missing person report exactly. The silence that fell over the admission desk was thick enough to touch. The truth spread through the staff in minutes. The unconscious man in emergency was his owner. People gathered outside the admission desk, talking in soft, quiet voices, and everyone had the same thought. No one had the heart to lock him out now. The rules said no animals inside the hospital, but rules bend when a soul has waited 9 days to find his person. Clara signed a quick waiver, told the administration she would take responsibility for him, and led the dog through the automatic doors he had watched open and close hundreds of times. He did not bark. He did not jump. He walked beside her, head up, tail held still, his steps soft on the linoleum. He stopped outside the emergency department room where his owner lay, and would not go in until Clara opened the door and told him it was okay. He crossed the threshold slow, padding across the cold tile, and stopped at the side of the bed. He put his head on the edge of the mattress, right next to his owner's hand, and did not move for 3 days. He got up only to drink water Clara left for him, and to go outside once a day, and always came right back to the bed. When the man woke up, the first thing he felt was the warm weight of the dog's head on his thigh. The first sound he heard was the soft thump of the dog's tail against the hospital floor. For 9 straight days, people had said the yellow dog refused to leave the hospital entrance. That was never the whole truth. He never refused to leave. He just would not leave without the person he came for. He waited, because that was all he could do. He scanned every door, tracked every step, because he knew if he stayed, eventually the person he loved would walk through those doors. And when that moment came, he was ready. 2 weeks later, the man walked out of the hospital on crutches, and the yellow dog walked right beside him. The automatic doors slid open. They stepped out into the sun and headed for home.